Around the Table on Harrison's original KHOC.
Welcome to Around the Table with Dan and Ann. It is a Tuesday here in the neighborhood.
Tuesday. Oh.
Where you at? There you are.
I guess I'm not here.
Oh, what now?
Tuesday. It's usually Taco Tuesday, but I'm not,
Taco.
I don't live by that rule.
There's an acronym for Trump. It's the Taco something. I don't know. Taco Trump something?
Okay.
Am I getting you started?
Well, no, but I did read something today about, it's about RFK and how he's, about the whole vaccination and the things that he's changing. And a pharmacist happened to respond saying, I don't get it. We've worked our lives to help to try to make people safe. And I guess from her view as a pharmacist, she couldn't understand why they're not recommending all this stuff. Anyway, it's just a big deal all the time.
Okay.
Every day.
Are you saying that she's for his recommendations?
No,
or?
she's against it.
Oh, against it. Okay.
So I'm curious, as other pharmacists,
wonder what it is. Yeah.
What the whole deal
it could be the vaccination thing.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
He's been pigeonholed as a vax denier, but I don't think that he is though. But
what's your thought on vaccinations?
I think all of them are good except for the COVID one. I think they're finding out that was a little iffy.
We know that.
But they introduced that under an emergency clause. I mean, it was an emergency.
Right.
So, what can you do? You don't know.
But is he trying to do away with mandatory? Do you know the whole scoop? Okay.
No.
It says he removed current members of CDC's vaccine advisory committee, and that's what prompted, I think.
Well, let me tell you something. If you are concerned about data or facts or statistics, I would suggest, now this is free to everyone, I'd go to ChatGPT
and ask
ChatGPT. Now, when you go to Google or you go to another search engine, those are heavily slanted with certain facts. If you ask ChatGPT, it will give you a list of factual things because ChatGPT is it analyzes and it comes up with a logical explanation,
unbiased,
instead of,
I guess,
stuff, sources. If you ask Google something, it's going to give you articles from the newspaper,
and it could be in there.
Could be opinions and all this stuff. But ChatGPT, I did this yesterday because it was a fact that I didn't understand, and I typed it in, and it gave me resources, and it even gave it an analytical opinion, which is
interesting,
pretty nice,
pretty cool.
So try that sometime. Yeah,
for sure. I want to mention that coming Monday, June 16th, is the ribbon cutting for the big Baxter Health and Arkansas Orthopedics and Sports Medicine building. The facility is the new location of the Baxter Health Ambulatory Surgery Center, Baxter Health Imaging. So they're going to have imaging there too.
Okay.
And Arkansas Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. So they're going to have some more doctors in, the sports medicine is Dr. Sinani, Dr. Cutler, and Dr. Lynn, and they have their PAs and nurse practitioner Josh Trinkle and James Hankins. But also there's a Dr. Ken Smith that will be in there, and I can't remember exactly what his role will be, but come out to the ribbon cutting, which is happening Monday the celebration is from 11 to 2 with the ribbon cutting ceremony from noon to 1.
And I hear they've got cookies.
They do have cookies, Dan. They do. But we'll remind you again about that. But it's a really nice facility for sure.
Oh, it's brand new.
State of the art facility.
They even got the curbs painted.
Isn't that awesome?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
all the curbs are red.
Are they?
Yeah.
Does that mean don't park here?
Yeah, they don't park there. There's a
such a
parking
dork.
spaces out there. Anyway.
Park in a parking space.
Later on in the quarter hour, 15 minutes into the show, we're going to have John Fry on the show. He's an author, and he'll be talking about his book. What was his book called?
The Prairie.
Faith Prairie or something. Let me look.
Dad, burn it.
A Prairie Faith. Yes.
Okay.
A Prairie Faith.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
We'll find out about that a little bit later on. We're calling him on the phone, so he will be electronic. I don't know if he'll
Glad
be.
you're in the driver's seat for that one.
Okay. All right. But let's do some weather first. Would you like?
You know what, Dan?
Yes.
Do you know what today is?
Today is weather day.
Every day's weather day.
I know.
Sunny and high today with a high of 85. Excuse me. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 62. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 88. And Wednesday night, mostly cloudy with a low of 66. When's the strawberry moon supposed to be?
I think it's this week.
Yeah, it's probably going to be out of cloudy.
Yeah,
Right?
this week. I had a little story on that somewhere.
There's one in our trending somewhere.
Yeah, a rare strawberry moon will be visible this week.
Does it say when?
Let's see. Summer officially starts June 21st, so Earth is wrapping up spring
Friday.
with its last full moon. This one's called the strawberry moon, but the name has nothing to do with its color. It could appear orange or reddish, or
this
just
week.
regular white.
So you just need to look this week because we don't know, and hopefully clouds won't, cover that up.
You know why they call it the strawberry moon?
No.
Because typically it's around the strawberry harvest. This is when you harvest strawberries.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So anyway,
So if it was more blueberry season, which is what we're moving into,
blue moon.
should it be the blueberry moon?
blueberry moon.
What about blackberry moon? All of it. Let's go with it.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's don't. Okay, Thursday, a slight chance of showers moves in with a 30% chance and a high of 84. Thursday night, a 30% chance of showers continues with a low of 68. Friday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms again. Chance of precipitation for Friday is 60%. Friday night, a 40% chance of showers with a low of 68. Go ahead.
Saturday, chance of showers continues, then showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm after 1 p.m. Mostly cloudy with a high near 85, 60% chance of precipitation, 30% chance of showers Saturday night, low 69, 50% Sunday. And then Monday, 30% chance of showers with a high around 88. So there. That's our weather, and we're sticking to it until it changes,
It'll
which
change.
could be 5
Tomorrow.
or 10 minutes from now.
Exactly.
All right. Let's move on. Would you like
I
to
think we
move on?
should, Dan.
Okay.
I think we should ponder something.
You want to ponder?
Let's ponder.
Let's ponder a topic.
Okay.
Get up, get moving, get those thinking caps on. It's time to ponder this topic.
Okay, this week's topic to ponders are about regrets. So today's topic, question to be answered. What are you grunting over there about? Sighing. You don't
ahead.
like this one, do you?
I don't know the answer, really.
It's hard to answer
Yeah,
some
that's a
of these.
hard one.
Yeah, I know. If you had the chance to redo one moment, would you take it, and why? I think there's a lot of moments I would like to change. The day that I stepped on a glass jar, a broken glass jar, which kind of messed me up. Yeah, I was 7 years old, and we just moved to a new neighborhood, and the kids were playing in the creek, and I wanted to play, and my mom said, "No, leave your tennis shoes on. That's okay. Just leave your shoes on." And everybody else had their shoes off, and I wanted to be like everybody else. And I stepped in the creek, and the first thing I did was stepped on this. It was a jar, a broken jar.
man.
Yeah.
Bummer.
And-
you should have listened to your mama.
Yeah, I should have. And we were at a ball game, and a guy saw what happened, and he picked me up and threw me in his car, and he says, "I know a doctor in the neighborhood." And this guy was a little bit inebriated.
Come on.
No, I'm serious. It was a ball game, and he was kind of tipsy.
Okay.
I'll take it.
The guy,
I got.
How old were
I
you?
got this one.
How old were you?
6 or 7, yeah. And he says, I got it. I know the doctor. He's right down the road. I'll take him down there. So, my mom jumped in the car. We all jump in the car, and we pull up to this guy's house, and it's on an incline, and they all jump out, and they leave me in the car, and the guy forgets to put it in park.
What the flip?
So the car starts rolling back down the driveway, and the drunk guy, oh, I'll get it. Don't worry, I'll get it. So anyway.
So how'd it end?
Well, he took me in and he cleaned my. It had sand all. I had a cut for all on the bottom of my foot.
It's an
along the
infection
toe
waiting to
line.
happen.
Yeah, I know. And he cleaned the sand out and no anesthetic. I mean no deadening.
Yeah.
And I was screaming, hollering.
I'm sure.
So it was.
You
I think that would be a thing that I would like to relive.
relive
over.
that one.
Yeah.
That was back in the day of house calls, and you
Yes.
could do that kind
Yeah.
of thing. That's unheard of now, for sure. I couldn't come up with one off the top of my head, because we talked a little bit yesterday about how every experience you've been through, every decision
Sure.
you've made, forms you into who you are. Now, I haven't really thought about like an injury type deal like that, what I would do.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some in there. But
I'm sure.
I couldn't think of
Well,
anything specific.
I think guys hurt themselves more than women do.
Because they're more adventurous,
Yeah.
usually, right?
Well, they're indestructible.
Oh, they think they
Oh,
are.
they think they are. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, it's on our Facebook page. If you had the chance to redo one moment, would you take it?
Mm-hmm.
And why? And we have an answer that says, like yesterday's thought, gone out on a date, I stood up. Oh, it would have changed my life.
Yeah, it probably would have.
Yeah,
if you
gone
would have.
out on a date, I stood up. Like he stood him up, I guess.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
She would have liked to have known, right?
Well, probably.
What the date
that's
turned
what
out
it
to be?
indicates. Yeah. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, those things are. You kind of want to know those kind of things. What would have happened
Yes.
if?
What would have?
What
Well,
if?
yeah.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
But
There's always
of
that
course, it'd be
question.
nice to have that card, that trump card, where you say, "Well, I don't think so."
Yeah.
Let me rewind and go
How
back.
about my crystal ball?
Yeah. Go to
All
our
right.
Facebook page and answer the question. If you had the chance to redo one moment, would you take it, and why? All right.
Oh, ouch.
History.
We're doomed to repeat ourselves, so let's find out what happened today in history.
Israel has accepted the ceasefire in that fighting, and the time for it to go into effect has been fixed on the scene at 16:30 hours GMT. That is 12:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today.
58 years ago, the Six-Day War in the Middle East came to an end as Israel and the last Arab nation still fighting agreed to cease fire. That morning, CBS News correspondent Dallas Townsend broadcast that bulletin.
Okay.
Those are buzzsaws and a helicopter in the background. Rescue workers are still searching for bodies, and the task is so massive that without standing here, I couldn't imagine the total destruction.
This was back in 1972, 53 years ago. A flood roared through Rapid City, South Dakota, killing 226 people and destroyed 900 homes. 10 inches of rain had begun falling the night before, leading 2 earthen dams to collapse west of the city. Reporter John Hoganson watched the cleanup effort.
This is one of the very real concerns I have, whether James Earl Ray was a willing participant in this escape or whether he was lured into it.
48 years ago, James Earl Ray, the confessed assassin of Martin Luther King Jr., escaped with 6 other inmates from a Tennessee prison. Ohio Congressman Louis Stokes, chair of the House Assassinations Committee, was among those who felt Ray knew more than he was telling about the King shooting and that the escape was an attempt to silence Ray. Ray was recaptured 3 days later and eventually died in prison.
I didn't know he escaped. That was weird.
Yeah.
The IG found Arlington's mission hampered by dysfunctional management, a lack of established policy and procedures, and an overall unhealthy organizational climate.
This was 15 years ago, back in 2010. Army Secretary John McHugh announced that an inspector general's investigation found that hundreds of remains at Arlington National Cemetery may have been misidentified or misplaced.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. 3 years ago, Britney Spears married her longtime partner, Sam Asghari, at a Southern California ceremony that came months after the pop superstar won her freedom from a court conservatorship. They would file for divorce 14 months later.
He was serving life behind bars for a series of bombings, explosives he both shipped or delivered. They killed 3 people and injured dozens of others. A marathon manhunt ended with his arrest at a Montana shack in 1996. Ted Kaczynski was 81 years old.
This was 2 years ago. Ted Kaczynski, the Harvard-educated mathematician known as the Unabomber, who retreated to a dingy shack in Montana wilderness and ran a 17-year bombing campaign that killed 3 people and injured 23 others, died at a federal prison medical center. CBS News correspondent Mark Strassman had more on the story.
We have birthday cuts, and Shirley Alston Reeves, lead singer for girl group Pioneers, the Shirelles, was born June 10th, 1941, making her 84. One of their biggest hits was the Jerry Goff and Carol Kling classic, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?
Yeah. Also a birthday cut, country singer Lee Brice was born on this day in 1979, 46 years old today. He had a hit song, I Don't Dance.
They captured that Grant Hardin, in case people hadn't kept up with the news, that escaped inmate that used to be a police chief and all that. So he's under wraps finally after however many days.
Yeah. They captured him. Huh?
Yeah. So just a little tidbit of information. Also, we want to talk about Paradise Cream.
Oh, you do?
Because Paradise Cream is the best ice cream in town, and they have a concession truck that is located across from Pizza Hut over there by, I can't ever remember the name of, it's not Mass Merchandiser. Factory out, what is it? No. Okay. Anyway, over by the Yona Shopping Center.
I'm blank too.
I'll go with that. That's kind of funny when we both blank out. But they are operating and have the best ice cream. It is creamy. They have vegan and what other flavors do you recall? You remember the vegan flavors?
Vegan? Oh, I don't know the vegan flavors.
I mean, not the vegan flavors, but what else besides the vegan flavors?
Vegan and I don't know.
Y'all, we
I forgot my notes.
I don't believe that we were prepped for that. But let me just talk about their hours. Well, non-dairy.
Non-dairy.
They have non-dairy, vegan. One of their, I think, popular ones is the German chocolate cake, which you said you like. And they are located, again, over across from Pizza Hut. And summer hours, Monday through Wednesday, 3 to 8. Thursday through Saturday, 12 to 8, and Sunday, 12 to 7.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Go get a scoop, 2 scoops, or a pint. That's good. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have John Fry on the phone, and we'll be talking about his book, A Prairie Faith, and it's actually the religious life of Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Good
so
deal.
He's written a book on that, and we'll find out all about that in just a few minutes. Stick around, stay with us. You're listening and watching Around the Table with Dan and Ann. Stay with us.
Facebook, and Hometown TV, Channel 26.1.
And welcome back to Around the Table. We're always fortunate to have local authors in our region to grace us with their presence on the phone. And hopefully we have with us today John Fry. Are you there?
I am here.
Good morning,
John.
John.
Yeah, good morning, John.
Morning.
Hey, where are you located? Are you in Missouri?
Well, so I am actually located in the southwestern suburbs of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You know, when we had talked about your book, I had thought that you were in Missouri somewhere because of the subject matter.
Yep. No, so I was born. I was born in Pittsburgh. Grew up on a farm in western Pennsylvania. Came out to the Midwest. I now live outside of Chicago, but I got interested in Laura Ingalls Wilder, and so then we met at the Missouri Cherry Blossom Festival.
Right. Okay. And your book is called, let me look at it here, A Prairie Faith. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the subtitle is The Religious Life of Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Yeah.
So
and why take? There's been a lot of books written about her, but why take a religious point of view?
Sure. Yeah, so I did not grow up reading the Little House books. My wife actually got me to read them after we got married. We read to each other. And, I loved them the first time that we read them. I've read them multiple times. But one thing that so I teach at a Christian college. I teach at Trinity Christian College outside of Chicago. I'm a Christian myself. One thing that just struck me as I read the Little House books is the church is important in there, but not all of the depictions of the church are positive.
Okay.
There's two pastors. One pastor is very positively depicted, but one is not.
Mm-hmm.
And then you read biographies of Laura Ingalls Wilder, and they talk about how Christianity was, central to her life.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I wonder how we can understand some of these kind of edgy descriptions of the church and pastors in the books. And so that's what got me interested in writing the book.
Now, I don't know who I talked. Maybe it was you. We were talking about the religious aspect of her and the community that she was living in. The church that she was going to was not really her faith, right?
Yeah, so she grew up in the upper Midwest. She was born in Wisconsin and then, lived very briefly in Kansas, but then back to Wisconsin, lived in Missouri, and then Dakota Territory, which became South Dakota.
Yeah.
Grew up in the Congregational Church.
Okay.
But then when she and her husband Almanzo moved to the Ozarks, to Mansfield, in the 1890s, there was not a Congregational Church there. So they ended up going to the Methodist Church.
Uh-huh.
Huh. Okay. Wow.
And were there any reports of any conflicts that she had or disagreements with that religion or the community?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. You can imagine sometimes people move out of the region where they're from, and, there's culture shock. I think there's a bit of that there. The interesting thing, she and Almanzo never became members of the Methodist Church in Mansfield, even though they attended there for over 50 years.
Okay.
And biographers don't always exactly know what to do with that. I think probably the pastors would have encouraged them to become members, but the sort of the evidence on the ground is that they never did.
Yeah, you would think that in a pilgrim community like that. You would think that everyone would be more or less connected with each other and want to be members of that kind of thing. But how did you do your research? I know that there's other books written on her, but you took a different tack with this. How did you find some of the information that's included in the book?
Yeah, sure. So there's some things that everybody is able to look at. There's original manuscripts for the Little House books that she wrote them out in longhand, and then her daughter, Rose Wilder Lane, actually typed them up, and that's how they got published. so I could compare sort of what she had originally wrote to what Rose ultimately, edited and what got published. Those are available in archives. Her daughter Rose actually wrote a lot of letters and a lot of diary entries, and she lived in Mansfield with Mrs. Wilder and Almanzo for many years, and so you sort of get an idea of what was going on a daily basis. You sort of, you look at Rose's diaries and you find out what they're doing on Sundays, for instance. Rose did not go to church, but her parents did, and so there's those are also available actually at the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library in Iowa. It's kind of interesting. Her daughter was a friend of Herbert Hoover. And so her papers ended up at his presidential library.
That's cool.
That's neat.
Are there any descendants from Laura Ingalls that are still around that you may have talked to?
Yeah, so no direct descendants of the Ingalls family. So Ma and Pa, Laura's parents, had 4 daughters, and Laura was the only one who had children. She had a daughter named Rose, and she also had a son who died in infancy. Rose then had a son who died in infancy and never had any other kids.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
There are some more distant relatives. There's actually a woman, I spoke to her in Marshfield, Missouri, when we were at the Cherry Blossom Festival. Her name's Laura Ingalls Gunn, and she's sort of a distant cousin.
Yeah.
Lives in Texas. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Are they very good resources for the life of Laura Ingalls Wilder?
I'm an academic historian, so I do a lot of research in archives, and for instance, I looked at the Mansfield Mirror, which is the newspaper from Mansfield, Missouri. I look at about 40 years of that on microfilm. Most of my work is done in documents, things like that, more so than talking with people.
I gotcha. You get the fact.
Yeah.
Well, that's the hope.
Yeah, that's the hope. What other interesting things in the book? If someone wanted to buy the book, what other things would they be noticing inside the book?
Yeah. Well, so it is a full biography of Mrs. Wilder, and it's the first biography. There's a very long biography that came out in 2018 called Prairie Fires, which is great in a lot of ways, but I don't know, not everybody wants to read a 600-page biography.
Oh, boy.
Right.
Mine is shorter and more direct. It pays particular attention to her faith. I'd sort of think that Christianity was important to her, but it wasn't central to her life like it was to some people at that time. I also kind of dig into this, I already mentioned, comparing the original manuscripts of the Little House books to what ultimately got published, and that was actually Mrs. Wilder and her daughter Rose collaborated together. I mean, Rose, when she typed things up, she would change things. She would, put in scenes at times, turn things into dialogue.
Oh, really?
Really, the two of them together make those books as good as they are.
Yeah.
Wow. Because when you read the original manuscripts, they're good, but they're not as good as the published books. And then when you read stuff that was written by Rose, she was actually a novelist and got a lot of stuff published when she was alive.
Okay.
Her stuff is not that good.
Oh boy! Whoops!
But somehow together they wrote these. People were millions of people still read the Little House books.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing that one person is not as good as unless they have a partner.
Yeah,
kind of like our show.
No, and the two of them argued all the time. That's the other thing.
That's
you
funny.
can sort of get some. Some of this you only get from Rose's side because she kept all these diaries and things. But, it sort of helps me think about my wife's relationship with her mother and with our daughter.
Yeah.
And so.
That's interesting.
So it's deeper than just the faith.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, she didn't really have a strong base there that she, she was maybe religious, but she didn't have one that she jumped into.
Yeah.
And that type of thing.
Yeah, I think she was a committed Christian. Interestingly, she was more committed to the Eastern Star, right, this Masonic organization. She became a member of that organization. She has actually an officer in that organization for many years. Although at the same time, women couldn't be officers in the Methodist Church.
Oh, boy,
so.
yeah.
Gotcha. That would, yeah, I can see that being a problem.
So, John, what are you working on now? Anything new?
Yeah, so I've been still doing some appearances about this book. My hope is to do an edited volume of research about Laura Ingalls Wilder and the Little House books. There's actually a conference, it comes around every 2 years, called Laura Palooza, which is sort of half academic conference. People do research on the books and on her life, and half sort of fan event. You go, and there are people dressed up in bonnets. And
that's cool, yeah.
But there's been some really great research that's never been published, so it's my hope to get a publisher and do that.
That's good. That's
cool.
Good. Where can we find your book?
My book is available at Amazon, pretty much all other major online retailers. The website for the book is Faith of LIW. That's Laura Ingalls Wilder's, faithofliw.org.
Okay.
Okay.
You've got a forward by Mark Knoll. Can you tell us about him?
Yeah, so Mark Knoll actually is a pretty big name in church history in the late 20th century and in really the last 50 years. He turned out to be a fan of Laura Ingalls Wilder and was very gracious to write an encouraging and helpful foreword for the book.
Well, that's great. Great. Hey, we appreciate you coming on the show today. John, don't be a stranger. Let us know. Are you going back to the Cherry Blossom Festival next year?
Well, if they invite me, I'd be glad to come back.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
We encourage everyone to get out, and if you're interested in Laura Ingalls Wilder, which a lot of people are in this area, this is probably an addition to your library that you probably want. Thanks, John.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
And yes, that was John Fry on the phone. I'm going to take all this down.
We will undo I don't know if you have to undo that or not.
Yeah, we can do that.
We're
Push a little bit. Are you ready for another break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more for you from Around the Table with Dan and Ann. Stick around, stay with us.
Facebook, Around the Table on the original KHOZ.
And welcome back to Around the Table. I just heard an ad for Moark Big Deals. Did you?
Oh, Moark Big Deals.
Yeah, they've got a Father's Day special, extra 15% off. Sale price with the code DAD. So go to Moark Big Deals and type that code. Yes. It starts June the 15th.
No, it says June 11th through the 15th.
Oh, okay.
So it starts tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Oh, the sale ends through June the 5th. Okay.
Right.
So it's starting tomorrow. Great. Treat Dad like the hero he is with a gift certificate for his favorite restaurants, exciting adventures, and relaxing experiences that show your appreciation for everything he does. And yes, you use the code DAD for all these great deals.
MoarkBigDeals.com.
Yeah. And also in Branson is Dick's 5 and Dime. They still have that intersection that's closed until, I think, just a few more days.
Well, they said on their Facebook page that they're hoping to have Main Street being finished paving by the end of this week.
Okay.
If there's no rain, they thought they could succeed.
But that shouldn't stop you from going to Dick's 5 and 10. They have a shopping spree of $100 per person, and they're giving away 5 of those a week. So go in there and find out how you can sign up for that shopping spree. Maybe you'll be a big winner.
The big lucky winner.
Big winner.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool, man.
Okay, time of the year where it's spring and everybody's ready to have children.
Okay.
Present
spring? Company excluded.
Is it spring? It's when
I think it's winter when people snuggle, and then all the babies are born like in August or whatever it is.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought springtime was when all the babies were born.
I don't know.
I was born in October, so.
Well, I think that's probably legit.
They didn't read the instructions, I would assume.
Nope.
But baby names are hard to come up with. But there's several baby names that are banned in the U.S.
God.
So if you like some tips on if you want to give a baby a crazy name, some of these aren't apropos. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Move to Illinois or South Carolina if you want the name to have numbers and symbols, since those are the only states that will allow you to name your child with a symbol or a number.
Okay.
According to usbirthcertificates.com, American courts have outlawed 11 baby names, including King, Queen, Jesus Christ, and Santa Claus. Now, who would want to name their child any of those? Same goes for Adolf Hitler, Nutella. That's kind of a cool name, though. Nutella.
I was going to name my kid Peanut Butter or chocolate.
Okay. Emojis won't legally cut it either in New York State. First and middle names have to max out at 30 letters so they can fit in the ID, fit on your ID, while Texas gives you 100 letters before you can cut it off. People pushing the limit, aren't they? Elon Musk's son is named X.
Good for him.
Okay.
Whatever. I guess he's Elon Musk's son. Maybe he won't get made fun of, but I bet he will.
I guess if you got all the money in the world, you can do whatever you want. Just don't name him Twitter.
My good Twitter.
Okay. These the gold cards, ID cards that we're all getting.
Yes.
Well, the TSA says you can't use the Costco gold card. Even though it's got your, even though it has a photo on it, you can't use it. And while it might get you a $1.50 hot dog or a 48-pack of toilet paper, the TSA says there's no way it's going to get you past airport security alone. Maybe it's all the trolls on Reddit who convinced everyone that the TSA accepts them, but the agency says it's the gold star on your license that works, not the one on your membership card.
Gold star meaning the
It's a little symbol.
enhanced.
Yeah, a little
The enhanced
circle.
driver's license.
Yeah, yeah.
So, duh. Also, well, American Airlines.
Here we
know,
go.
we talk about the airlines and the stuff that goes wrong.
Yep.
Not
especially
usually the
weeks
stuff
before
that
we go
goes right,
flying.
but especially weeks before we go flying.
Mm-hmm.
But evidently, you have to make sure. There's some airport or runways that are not too long. Like Cozumel, for instance, it's not a super long
really?
runway.
Got to have a good
so
pilot,
you got to
right?
have a good pilot, and there's some that are really sketchy to get in and out of. But American Airlines flew one of their gigantic Boeing 787 Dreamliners from Philadelphia to Naples, Italy, but forgot to check one small detail. When it came time to land, the airport told them that the plane was too big for the runway.
Yike.
That's a big, bold mistake. The pilot told the passengers they had to land 150 miles away in Rome due to operational limitations.
Uh-oh.
So you should always check your runway to see if you can land your big plane on it.
Well, if you're a pilot, you should know that.
You should know that.
You should, if you've got a pilot log or book or information, you're supposed to know where you're going, what the runways are, what directions the runway is pointing, and all that stuff.
I like when I enter the airplane and you can look in the cockpit and you go, okay, those look seasoned. Well, we had one flight coming back and it was like, y'all are babies.
Oh, boy.
They looked like babies. They did fine. But there was weather. There was some weather we were going to encounter, and I thought, I wonder how much experience they have driving in weather.
Well,
But you take your life.
You people would say that you're being prejudiced.
I'm not being prejudiced.
Well,
I'm just being practical.
You're being discriminatory.
I probably
You're
am.
discriminating. You are to a certain degree.
Yeah, I am.
You're wanting to make sure that your life is safe in the hands of those people, and you're kind of prejudging them a little bit.
I am
He's
prejudging
kind
them.
of young there.
They could be young and be perfectly adept at what they do. I mean, I'm sure they are. Or they wouldn't have gotten to where they are.
We all do it.
But we all.
If you're driving at night, and your tank is almost empty, are you looking for the most dingiest?
No.
Place to stop? No, you want the one that looks clean
Safe.
and lit and safe. Yes, absolutely.
Safety is a huge thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan, you want to talk about this lady's
tossing her mom in the ocean? Yeah, there's a woman tossed a bottle with her mom's ashes in the ocean so her mom could travel the world.
Bless her.
That's so nice. A woman from the UK put her mom's ashes in a bottle and tossed it in the ocean with a note inside that said, "This is my mom. Throw her back in. She's traveling the world." Okay, well, that sounds like a nice idea. Unfortunately, the bottle washed up on the same beach the very same day, but the people who found it thought it was pretty sweet, shared the photo of the bottle on social media, and then they threw her back in the ocean. The daughter says her mom died from a heart condition and never got to travel much. She also says her mom liked the beach, so she hopes her next stop is Spain or Barbados.
Well, I hope her mother's remains make it to wherever the daughter wants it.
You know what's going to happen?
What?
You're going to see hundreds of bottles starting to wash up on the beach from this story.
Oh, I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
Like everybody's going to go out and throw their bottles now.
Well, they'll throw their ashes of their pet or something.
I don't think they're recommending that we throw all the ashes of our loved ones into the ocean. And if you do, how about we don't? I'm assuming they've got it in a bottle, is what it says.
That's what it says. They're in a bottle.
Let it be free.
Yeah, let it be free.
And then it's not like a problem.
That's so funny.
Weird. That's what that is.
What's weird is that people are going to pick up the bottle and open it up and get weirded out because there's ashes in there, probably. On that note, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Around the Table. Paradise Cream is open for their summer hours, Monday through Wednesday from 3 to 8, Thursday through Saturday from noon to 8 p.m., and then Sunday from 12 to 7.
Yes, go check it out.
Awesome ice cream. Check them out. Over 30 flavors, vegan and non-dairy flavors. And the flavors are to die for, really. Really, really good stuff.
Also, make it to Branson and sign up for a $100 shopping spree at Dick's 5 and 10.
Okay. All right.
Did you know that Alzheimer's may have a correlation with where you live?
You know, I read this story. It is kind of strange, actually.
Yeah. The study has found that dementia rates are the highest in American Southeast at 25%.
That would be Florida, Georgia, those kind of places.
The Northwest, well, we're central, but we're a little south.
Central South, I guess.
Yeah. The Northwest and the Rocky Mountains have a 23% rate of dementia for its residents, and the northeastern United States, which includes New York, have the lowest rate at 7%.
Wow.
That's great to know, but researchers now have to figure out why that is. They say it could come down to environmental factors, quality of education, and access to health care, which in my brain I'm thinking, seems like New York would be opposite. Like it wouldn't be one of the lower ones, but what
it's Northeast, which would be Maine, Vermont, upstate New York.
But, I mean, why? That's a populated city. It just seems like I don't know.
Don't know.
I guess it depends on what causes it all.
That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Okay. Yo-ho.
Let's see. One of these was really good.
I'm done with that one.
Oh, world's first breast transplant. The list of body parts surgeons now can successfully transplant has increased by one. Well, technically two. A 38-year-old double cancer survivor in England has just become the first recipient of a breast transplant.
Wow.
Yes, she didn't know it was possible either until doctors figured out that they could transplant part of her reconstructed left breast to her right side to make up for what she had lost. Now she doesn't need implants or a muscle graft, and her transplanted ladies will grow and shrink as she gains and loses weight.
So I thought it was a double mastectomy, so she had already, I don't get it, but okay.
Well, maybe the way I understood it, they took part of one off to put on the one that was taken off.
But if she had breast cancer, I thought it said she had double cancer survivor. I was thinking in both breasts, so how could you make that happen? But I must be wrong about my details. You know what I mean? If you've got cancer in this breast,
it says a 38-year-old double cancer survivor.
So it doesn't say she had.
No, I assume that.
I read into that.
One breast was taken off, and they replaced half of the good breast with.
That's kind of
that's kind of weird.
But you're using your own body parts.
Well,
so
I'm sure the skin stretched and whatever.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Gosh, they can do anything nowadays.
Yeah, they can, Dan. They can.
Give me a brain, I could help but think better.
Well, we could remove your rhino horn, and then we'd all be happy.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, this is a good story. The rhino horn story, it's good. Yeah. Removing rhino horns cuts poaching by 80%.
Yeah.
Poaching, what they do is they kill the rhino and take the horn.
Right.
Well, you can remove a horn like you do cows, I guess. But anyway, animal
not have to kill them?
Yeah, so no one wants them anymore, so they don't get killed.
I gotcha.
We took your horn from you. American animal conservationists in South Africa have had just figured out how to save rhinos from poachers just by cutting off their horns before the hunters can get to them. For the longest time, they just figured poachers were into killing stuff, but it turns out that those horns sell for a fortune on the dark web. On the dark web?
Okay.
Where they grind them up for aphrodisiacs or something? Mostly as medicine. Dehorning them led to an 80% drop in poaching. In case you're worried about it, the rhinos don't really mind not having that horn.
And I'm thinking, how do they defend? That's probably a part of a defense mechanism for them. So
well, I'm sure it cuts down on safari tigers. Because they get upset and they ram that horn into the tires.
Yeah, Dan, they do. Dadgummit.
You know what today is?
Do you know it's National Iced Tea Day? Do you drink iced tea?
I like iced tea.
I'm not a tea drinker.
Yeah.
Sweet or unsweet?
I like sweetener in it, but I've drank it.
You're one of those.
I've had it both ways. I can drink it both ways.
Which do you prefer?
I prefer a little bit of lemon and a little bit of sweetener. Stevia.
National Ballpoint Pen Day, because we all need a National Ballpoint Pen Day. Oh, National Herbs and Spices Day. Dress up your meals with all the herbs and spices. I like them.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
The more the better. National Egg Roll Day. Get an egg roll and roll it. That's what I had for supper the other night. Just a light snack.
Yeah.
Egg roll, and what else do we have? We had some little, I can't think of it, Hot Pockets, or not Hot Pockets, but I forget what they're called. Start of the 3,000-mile race across America Cycle Marathon. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We had a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.